Welcome to the show. I'm here with TheBigScope of Capitalmind on the newly minted Capitalmind show on TheBigScope. So I just want to ask you one thing. Everyone's talking about Facebook and the data leaks or the data sales and the privacy breaches and Cambridge Analytica and politics and elections being rigged and whatnot. But if you look at the Facebook stock, it's plummeted. Obviously, people don't like Facebook anymore. So I gotta ask you this dispassionately, objectively. Is this a good time to invest in Facebook?
Dispassionately, no, because they're going to see people leaving, and the number of people that have actually said, at least openly, that they're going to drain their accounts out of Facebook, they're moving this stuff out, is possibly too big to ignore. So we don't know. We don't know the impact on advertisers. And if people now start looking at options that say we will not give you our data. I have personally, as a family, I use it to connect it to family, and now I barely go there. And it's not because I don't want to, but just because I find it unnecessarily, in a way that I feel a little weird about so many of personal pictures and photos being so readily available. But also at the same time, I feel a little weird about the fact that we don't get to see your own network. There's a big cartoon about this. You spend a lot of effort trying to build a Facebook network, right. Friends, this, that. And then you expect that if you put a message on Facebook, all these people who are your friends are going to see that message. But the answer to that question has become no. You have to pay Facebook to get them to see those messages. Right. With the advent of WhatsApp, and perhaps that is a medium that while Facebook owns it, it can figure out how to monetize it. But if it does the same thing that it did with Facebook, with WhatsApp, that's going to fail all over again. On WhatsApp, there's no advertising, but they use WhatsApp to give me ads apparently on Facebook.
And they started WhatsApp business as well.
They started WhatsApp business as well. That's an interesting aspect, but I don't know how far that's going to go, because I think most of it is the fact that you can have two accounts on one phone. I can get two phones. It costs me a lot less. To be honest, I find it difficult to believe that 1,500 rupee investment would be better than paying Facebook to have a business account on my thing. WhatsApp can get into payments and try to charge merchants for that. And that's a very powerful mechanism. I don't know whether it's going to do that. It's pushing that.
There has been some talk about it, especially in India.
That might actually be an interesting part, which makes you wonder if that's good. The Instagram features are fantastic, and there's not so much intrusive advertising over there. But their cash model has always been Facebook. It's where most of the money comes in. But if people start leaving that platform, not sharing messages, not sharing outright, personal, friendly messages on that platform, where you start disbelieving what you see because that has been curated for you to see in a certain way, so you start disbelieving it, and that's getting more and more common because it may not be Facebook, but it's the perpetrators of the crime that says, well, I'm going to try and shape your views in a certain way, whether it's political, economic, or otherwise. And that manifests as fake news because there is no retribution for having published something fake. Or in other cases where Facebook is a platform for people to police you. They can find out who you are and find out who you know and target specific people that in order to injure or hurt or dissing you. So if this prompts a decrease in the linkages and the network kind of slows down in terms of growth, connections and so on. I have 7,000 connection requests on Facebook. I don't approve most of them because my deal is if I don't know you like my best friend, I am not going to approve you for the most part. If I haven't met you, and I haven't had the time to go back in my connections and remove whom I don't really know well, but I will do that eventually. But the point over here is that these I thought I was an odd case. It appears now that I am not. It appears now that there are a lot of people that are actually doing this, and over time, if this becomes a serious issue, Facebook's revenues are going to contract fast. And
so I think the question now becomes, we've seen it going down, we've seen Facebook getting hit, at the executive level, at the common man level. Advertisers might be pulling in some time. At the same time, they've got WhatsApp going, they've got a lot of possibilities with WhatsApp, as you were saying, business, payments, whatever. They've got Instagram going, which is going very, very strong. It's taking on Snapchat quite successfully. So I think the question becomes, today, Facebook's at this level and it's going down. But in 5 years, Do you expect Facebook to be at a higher price or a lower price?
You can't say 5 years is too far. Anybody who can predict 5 years for a company like Facebook is like out of his mind. But,
okay, let's say 6 months then.
So you look at what's happening right now. The prices are likely to correct just because there's overvaluation. Forget the fact that Facebook had these problems. But then you have the problems. So you say that's an even bigger impact. I mean, why you would pay such a massive overvaluation for that business versus say a Microsoft or an Apple is not, it's not obvious. Also because they don't have that much growth left. Facebook can grow only a certain amount now. It can't grow at the scorching 50%, 70%, 100% pace.
To be fair, Facebook's still waiting for the third world to come online.
Well, much of the third world is India and China. It doesn't operate in China.
No, you got Africa as well that still needs to come online.
Well, Africa is a very small population compared to India. India and China are 1/3 of the world.
Right.
So if you can't access China and you've done all that you can with Western Europe and America, and India is whatever it is there. It's not any more than that because most people are on WhatsApp or somehow already penetrated. Your Africa is probably going to add tiny single-digit percentage point gains to your overall accessibility. So you don't have that much to grow. You have to now try to get more revenue from the same people. And given what's happening now, they're not going to get more revenue from the same people. You also have a blatant mistrust that's happening in the developed world. And that's not yet come to India. But the developed world is starting to mistrust it very much, and that's why the revenues are.
Right.
So even if you brought all of Africa online, it would take you 10 years to realize any revenue out of that. But at the same time, you're going to be dripping out of Western Europe and be dripping out of America, while at the same time, not having any position in China and possibly, saturating in India.
Yeah.
So that's the growth.
Final question. I know I already said final question once, but you bring up an interesting point. There's a certain amount of mistrust. And the other big tech companies we've seen over the years, they tend to get rid of their founder CEOs when that happens. So do you think, it's like Uber last year ago.
Yeah, but that was mostly because of personal misconduct. But
Zuckerberg has lost a lot of personal value as well. His fight with people in Hawaii for a house, his fight on data privacy. A lot of these things, like you were saying, there's a lot of mistrust there. So do you think he needs to step down and give reins to Sheryl Sandberg?
Well, you can't force him to.
Of course.
Because he owns a substantial amount of voting rights. The only way you can force him to is to bring the stock price to, say, another 40% more down. And then he realizes that, okay, this is a serious thing and then maybe I should shut down or whatever. I don't even think this is a problem at the Zuckerberg level. It's all of Facebook.
Okay.
The Facebook is built to not have privacy. It has never been anything else. You cannot basically change the tenet and suddenly introduce some kind of privacy protection law and Facebook will be okay. It will not. Facebook will only survive if people ignore their privacy and freely connect to other people. It will not survive in a situation where by default you're not allowing it to connect or you're not allowing other people to let it connect, and the whole ecosystem kind of falls apart at that time. So you're not. Otherwise a company like Jenny or one of the other thousands of social networks would have kind of leapfrogged in this area as well. Facebook actually actively sought out connections. Right. They sought out people to make you connect. They sort of, even today they'll tell you and say, this friend of yours posted something, why don't you go check it out? Because they know I don't go, because they keep sending me mail every day, and I'll be like, I'd rather call them up and say, what do you say? Rather than go to Facebook, because I just find it so much of a pain to go. But that's not the point. I'm not the average subscriber of Facebook. This is now a business making effect. Yeah. I know tons of small businesses that have just decided not to keep Facebook as their primary business model. They've actually moved to a WhatsApp where they have a set of friends or people or customers.
But that's still Facebook business though.
That's still Facebook business, but it's not Facebook business. Instead, Facebook doesn't get paid.
They don't get data.
They don't get anything. So they get to know that you're talking about selling something to people that but there is no way they're monetizing it. The minute they monetize it, people will move away to different platforms.
Right.
Because now you're once burnt, you know that, I have a model where I can get people together and some other network will come up which will allow me to do that. So it's very easy for people to move now. And Facebook, while it was an excellent model, I have noticed that people have even stopped looking at the ads in any meaningful way. So you slowly start switching, and when the switch starts happening, it moves really fast. So what you want to be careful about is betting on a horse that is past its prime. Facebook could be, and I'm just saying this because from a perspective of what the company is, it's very difficult to reinvent itself on what it does. Its investments in the AI space are very, very impressive. So that might actually help change some of the rules. It may not be Facebook as a social platform. It may be Facebook as the owner of virtual reality and augmented reality.
One of other Facebook's ventures,
which are more interesting than anything else. And perhaps that will help it change its mind. But I think where we are currently, it's going to be a difficult thing to say. The current model survives, Facebook survives without any blemish on its character. So I think revenues are going to fall. I think so. A 20% fall is not a fall. To give you a context, when it bought WhatsApp, the price of Facebook was around $67.
Okay.
Today it's probably more than double that, or double and a half that. So if it were to fall back to the Facebook purchase acquisition price levels, then you might say, okay, this is a decent point at which you might consider accumulating it. But 20% fall is just noise, so it's smaller as a fall than other.
Well, that's been great, and you guys can catch Deepak Shenoy on the Capitalmind show every week on the Big Scope.